Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM19 story, The Head Coach with me, Daniel. It's season 9, episode 9, and today in the penultimate video of the season, we play our second of 3 games against West Ham in the space of just 11 days, as we look to book our place in our second final of the season, and this time our first European one, with the Europa League up for grabs. We're playing against a side who have only secured their Premier League status in the penultimate game of the season, and we've got them on the final day at home at the weekend, but we're not worried about that one at all. We'll be playing a full reserve side if need be. We want to get through to the Europa League final and give ourselves a chance at a second trophy of the season. The Carabao Cup was a great achievement for us, but isn't going to give us too much weight for the European super clubs. If we win the Europa League though, that'll certainly get them to sit up and take a bit of notice of us. If we go and look at the schedule since you were last with me, we were playing in the FA Cup Semi Final against Chelsea, where we obviously lost disappointingly, and that denied us a place in a second domestic cup final of the season. Chelsea have got a game against Stoke in the FA Cup final, and that would have been a tie we would have been favourites for, but we didn't make it, so we can't complain. We then went away to Valencia in the first leg. I was going to show the second of this one on camera, but once we got 2 away goals, I was pretty confident of winning, despite the fact that Florentin Bernard picked up a knock. I was proven right, as you can see in the second leg, but between that we played Stoke at home. We won it 4-0 against the side we could have played in the FA Cup final had we found our way past Chelsea. Iwobi got a brace in that one. Even Matiju came off the bench and scored, which showed just how easy an opposition they were. We beat Valencia 4-1 at home in the second leg of the Europa League. Lavinas came off the bench to be the hero. Mauricio Zia with a goal off the bench too, as we got through fairly comfortably in the end. We then had a little poor run in the league, but as you can see, we played 4 games in 8 days. It's absolutely ridiculous, really, and we had to play our reserve side in 2. I'm pretty sure you can work out which ones they were. We played pretty much our first team, bar those who were still tired from the Thursday night. That was away against Sunderland, our rivals. We got a 1-1 draw and avoided defeat, and that's all I could have asked for in truth. We played a reserve side against United and did well to keep the score down to 2. Before our first team got a 3-0 win on the board against Brighton to secure our 6th place finish. We then played a complete reserve side 2 days later against Wolves. That was with both eyes on the Europa League tie 3 days later. Dave Casey got his first goal for the club in a really momentous moment for us. He was in our youth intake last year and didn't look like he was going to make it, but he's now got 5-star potential and he's played a couple of games already. 2 Premier League starts and 1 in the Carabao Cup earlier in the season, and he's certainly got a big future at Newcastle. Whether we'll be here to see it is another matter, but we've got to help develop the players while we're here. In the first leg of this Europa League Semi Final, we've all but wrapped it up. We won 4-0 with 2 late goals from Ranzan and Zia, making it far more comfortable than it could have been, but a really professional performance, and I'm looking forward to the second leg, where hopefully we can't throw it away, particularly as West Ham didn't get an away goal. And then in the league game in between, we played already relegated Millwall. They'd guaranteed their bottom place finish. We nicked it 4-3. We were 4-1 up with 10 minutes to go and tried our best to throw it away. But we were playing complete reserves in that one, and in some positions we were down to our 3rd choice. So the Europa League second leg is all but a formality, but we tried that against Fiorentina and then nearly threw the tie away. So we're not going to be making that mistake this time. Let's see how the other semi-finals go in. Liverpool won 1-0 away to Bayern Munich, so it could be a domestic final again. 2 English sides in the final and 3 in the semis as well. Things are looking pretty good for English football in this game. So we could be going to another European super club, but it looks like the Premier League's the place to be. If we have a quick look at the job security, there won't be too many surprises on there. There's one that's very insecure that I've got my eye on for the summer. 4.5-star rated AC Milan. They're down in 7th place in Serie A and could be out of European football altogether. Now you may say that's a step backward for one season, but the club's got a much higher reputation. They've got a slightly better financial standing, and not having European football could be a blessing in disguise. If you get the right signings in, we should be able to take them back to the top 3. No midweek football, and the lads have just got time to work in training and play 1 game a week. There's also a couple of big English jobs going, the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool, and then Real Madrid's insecure as well, and this bit interested me a lot. They've gone down to a 4.5-star reputation, which is lower than Manchester City and equal with the likes of Milan, who aren't in the Champions League. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Maybe La Liga's reputation is just declining. But let's get into this Europa League tie. It's a really important game for us to get to the Europa League finals, a massive achievement, and hopefully we can do that after falling out of the Champions League at the group stages. We will keep an eye on the other tie to see who we'll face, but we've got 3 injuries and a couple of unregistered players, so we don't want to write West Ham off just yet. The breaking team news is that Florentin Bernard's just back from injury, but he's not match fit at all, so we're not going to have him in the squad today. He'll start against West Ham at the weekend, that one in the Premier League, with a chance to prove his fitness for the final. The other injury problem is to 2 centre-halves. We've got both Ezri Konsa and Jamal Lascelles out, which means Declan Rice is coming in at centre-half as the ball-playing defender, and with Douglas Luiz out as the other injured player, we're having to play Rivera in an unfamiliar Segundo Volante role, as Declan Rice would have been his cover normally. So it means we've got David Raya in goal. We're at full strength aside from that, with Gomez and Lewis the fullbacks, and Rice alongside Yanderson as we mentioned, Rivera and Gilmour the central midfield, and then Arzani, Oliveira and Barrett, the 3-man creative force behind Greenwood up front. He's going to be overtaken by Mauricio Zia soon. The wonder kid's really developing well. His professional personality's fantastic, and he's becoming a real threat for us. So 2 good striking options behind Bernard, and hopefully it'll be enough to see us through today. So let's get into the Europa League Semi Final second leg. We're at the London Stadium, and we'll be hoping we can make it to a European final. Okay then, the familiar 4-2-3-1 for West Ham, a formation we see so much at the top level. It's definitely the most popular with elite clubs in Football Manager, and probably in real life to be fair, so that's not a surprise. One of the lads is motivated, we've told them to pick up where they left off, and hopefully they'll deliver in the first half. We've got a question about why Bernard's out. I've obviously just told you that. He's not ready to start the match. We don't want to rush him back and then have him miss the final, particularly as it's important we've got our best talisman for that game. So the kickoff's here with Navarro. I'm not quite sure why Barrett and Greenwood had switched on that team rating screen for a minute. I was a bit worried I picked them in the wrong position, but it seems to have resolved itself now. The highlight ends very quickly after kickoff, and as long as West Ham don't start scoring goals, there'll be no reason for us to panic at all. But with under 10 minutes gone, they're in one-on-one, and they've hit the post. Raya didn't get a hand to it. You didn't expect him to be honest. We're just delighted the centre-forwards missed, but that's a real warning sign early on, although Declan Rice has only played 2 or 3 games at centre-half all year, so we can't really blame him for being a bit rusty. He won't have a partnership with Yanderson at all. When he has played there, it's been cup games, so he will have been playing alongside Lascelles most of the time. It's Miles to Henry in the middle for West Ham though. Back to the right back, but Barrett's intercepted. He gives it straight away to Mason Holgate though. He's into Bruma on the left wing, delivers to the back post. Navarro's unmarked, but it's straight into the arms of Raya, who's delighted to just bring the ball into his chest. 20 minutes gone, it's still 0-0, but West Ham have certainly been the better side so far. We're back with an Arzani free kick. He's hit it straight into the wall though. Navarro makes another challenge, and I'm not sure why we saw that highlight. Gomez with the ball to Arzani. We're coming forward again as we build our chances in this game. We haven't had a shot on target yet, but that could all change now. Oliveira beats a man, goes for the shot, but it's another poor effort. Speculative's probably the right word, and it's wide of the post and it's 0-0. St Maximin crosses for Miles. Joe Gomez off the line. Twice, not just once. Absolutely brilliant work from the right back, and we survive with nearly half an hour gone, but this is going to be a nail-biting night, especially if West Ham nick a goal before the break. St Maximin in the middle to Navarro. He finds Miles on the overlap. He's got a man running off him on the left in Bruma, beats the fullback into Augustin, and there is the goal. We've really got to start to rethink things now. I'm going to drop to a balanced mentality, and we're going to start time wasting as well. I really want to disrupt the West Ham flow and try and make sure we see this out well. Let's get back into the game and see if we can make it to the break without any further damage. Arzani's got the attacking chance now. Rice finds Barrett. A goal would just wrap things up. If we score, don't forget, and get the away goal, West Ham would then need 6. But unfortunately on this occasion, Greenwood heads it straight into the arms of Henderson, and the chance goes begging. The long kick only finds Jamal Lewis though. He can come forward to Barrett, but they're giving it away again. We've been really sloppy in possession. It's not like us to have less than 60%, although we've won it back again now. Oliveira on the left to Barrett. He's got 2 men on the overlap, but goes inside to Arzani. Waiting for Joe Gomez and finds him now. He cuts it inside to Rivera. Gilmour finds Oliveira, goes for the shot, deflects back to him, and he forces a save from Henderson the second time. A really good effort, and it's behind for an in-swinging corner. Arzani's going to take it. Can he find a Newcastle head? He does, but it's too high for Greenwood, and he can only direct it wide of the post. 10 minutes to the break, and it remains 1-0 to West Ham on the night. They've got it back on the left-hand side, but Arzani wins it off him, and now Greenwood. Can we counter-attack at pace? They're just getting men behind the ball and slowing us down. Arzani forced back to Rivera. He finds Gilmour. We've got two men over on the left. One of them's Barrett. Jamal Lewis is overlapping, but he goes inside to Oliveira, and his shot straight at Henderson, who again claims it comfortably. It's West Ham with a throw on the right-hand side. Dramé, the right back, he gets it to Miles at the edge of the box. The shot's blocked and now we can break. Oliveira's got a 2-on-2. It's a cynical foul. Referee, he's got the yellow card out. It's so frustrating. They deserve more than a yellow, but rules are rules, and that's so frustrating they've stopped our counter that way. It's the first properly cynical foul I've seen on FM for a while. I didn't think they could quite replicate that realism, but that was absolutely perfect. It's exactly what would happen in real life. We've got a minute of stoppage time to play, and then we should be able to go into the break with a 3-goal lead on aggregate still intact. It's half time, it is 1-0 on the night. We've been really disappointing in this game, but as long as we don't concede 4, we're alright. We're going to tell the lads to prove a point, and most of them are motivated, and this time we've got the kick-off. As I've mentioned before, just 1 goal would seal this game. West Ham are never going to score 6, but until we score that goal, there'll always be a little bit of panic. It's 1-1 on the night in the other game. Liverpool still going through at this stand, but now that Bayern Munich have got an away goal, they can start to push for a second, which would see them through. Gilmour with a shot from distance for us, and he's put it comfortably wide of the post, and with 5 minutes gone in the second half, it remains 1-0 on the night. We're back with the ball with Barrett in the centre circle. He finds Oliveira. We've got space to run into. He finds Greenwood brilliantly. Great effort on his left foot, and Henderson tips it wide. It's going to be a corner kick, but that was a lovely counter-attack. We need a couple more of them, and surely we'll get a goal. Gilmour with the ball in. It's an awful corner, and Henderson comes out and claims, and the highlight ends with it still 1-0 on the night. We cannot find the breakthrough. A quarter of the game to go. We haven't seen any more highlights, although we're back for one now. Arzani into Barrett. He's in at the second attempt. Rivera taps it in from 3 yards. The tie is completely over, and now we can make a couple of changes. We want to bring on some of the talented younger players. Barrett's not having a good game, so Ranzan will come on for him. We've got Lavinas on the bench as well. I'm not going to risk changing the defence with the likes of Chapman or Casey, although it would be a lovely experience. They'll probably feature at the weekend. Sia's going to come on for Greenwood up front, and we're going to take Arzani off as well. He can have a rest with Lavinas coming on, playing in his preferred winger role on the right. So let's get back into it. West Ham need 5 more to get through, and we know that's not going to happen, so we've booked our place in the final. We've just got to keep an eye on it to see who we're going to be facing, and as it stands, it's Bayern Munich. They've got a second goal at Anfield. Jose Enrique with a brace, and he's going to be their hero, as we'll face German opposition in the final at the moment. There's still plenty of time for that to change, as Gomez hacks the ball forward for us. It's Quirk in the middle for West Ham. Not Richard Quirk, the one we've got at Torquay. This is Seb Quirk, another player in game. Bruma with the ball on the left side of the box. Back to Quirk, who shoots, and it's comfortably over the bar. We can deal with them all day. It's West Ham with a throw on the left though. They're starting to pile men forward. Bruma gets the ball into Silla. He's got a free header at the back post, but it's straight into the arms of Raya again, whose rating edges above a 7. They've got the ball at the back. West Ham are dominating the game now. Quirk finds Bruma on the left, charges past 2 defenders in towards the box, but it's shot straight at Raya. He probably should have laid in his striker there, although he's missed a couple of chances already. Jamal Lewis in the left back area. He finds Ranzan. Back to Jamal Lewis again. Definitely Bayern Munich v Newcastle. What a tie that's going to be. We're going to be tussling against one of Europe's elite, and maybe they'll offer us a job if we win. Who knows what will happen after the final. Ranzan goes with a shot from distance, coming in from the left hand side, but it's well over the bar onto the roof of the net, and it remains 1-1 on the night. That's not important though. It's 5-1 on aggregate. Jamal Lewis in on the left, crosses for Zia, he's scored, and now we're going to win on the night too. It's 6-1 on aggregate. What a performance by the lads, and we are looking forward to our first European final. A lot of the lads are looking complacent, but West Ham needs 7 goals on the night, and we know they're not going to score 6 in 2 minutes. As the final whistle goes, a wonderful performance. Apologies for some of the cracking voice in the commentary. There were odd little jump cuts where we had a bit of a cough, but we're through to the Europa League final. Let's go and talk to the lads and tell them how pleased we are. We're just going to say exactly what our assistant said. It was absolutely excellent. We're pleased with the result and performance, and we're going to go and see what the media have said about the game and confirm that it is Bayern Munich we're facing. They even got a 4th on the night. Jose Enrique completing his hat-trick. He's worth £71 million, and looking at his profile, I'm now slightly less confident. They've still got Joshua Kimmich as a leader according to his dynamics page, so there's certainly going to be some tests in that team. Kingsley Coman's still there as well. But let's look at what the media have said. We want to focus on ourselves, and we're just going to enjoy the fact we're in a European final. Where's it being hosted this year? That's an important thing. It's being hosted at Schalke's home ground, so it's going to be fairly local for Bayern, and I'd imagine there's going to be more German support than English ones there, so that could make it a bit more like a tricky away game. So even the media report of the final says it's Bayern Munich's riches against Newcastle's modest budget, so that suggests that Bayern Munich are doing poorly just to be in the Europa League. They would probably expect to be in the other final that'll be played on the Saturday after. They're top of the Bundesliga, so they'll be back in the Champions League next year, whereas we can only achieve that by winning this Europa League final. We booked our place with a first leg triumph. We got another couple of million into the club, but the board must be delighted with us, and surely our reputation will rise with this final appearance. I'm going to see if it has already. I'd expect it to happen at the end of the season. It hasn't. It's happened now. We're up to 3.5 star, and that's surely going to help us when applying for bigger jobs. Interestingly, while we're here, I can see Darren Ward's come off the worst opinion screen. Obviously, we've got bigger fish to fry now, and it's been a few years, so he's not worried about us anymore. We'll have a look at our end of 10-year review in just 1 year's time, so we'll see how all of our old clubs are getting on then. But it's nice to see that he's come off that screen. The grudge has finally gone. But let's go and have a look at the schedule. There's no need to tell you when we're going to be back. We'll play our last Premier League game off camera. If we go and look at the table, we're guaranteed a Europa League place finish. We can go above Liverpool on goal difference if they lose, and they're away to Southampton on the final day. But most importantly, we can't move down and we can't get into the top 4. So our only route of Champions League qualification is the Europa League final. But after winning the Carabao Cup and finishing 6th, we're guaranteed European football in some form next year. So we'll be back for that Europa League final against Bayern Munich in 3 weeks' time. One of the biggest games of the series so far, following on from the Carabao Cup final earlier in the year. Bayern Munich a massive opposition, an absolute super club, and one we wouldn't mind managing in the future of this career. We're trying to make ourselves look as attractive as possible for these big clubs, and hopefully if we can beat Bayern on the night, that'll certainly make them turn their attentions to us. I imagine that their manager won't get sacked after winning the Bundesliga, but other clubs in Germany might take notice, and if we can get a massive move this summer, it would be nice to manage an elite club on the continent, and I'm hoping that's what we'll be able to do next year. But if you did enjoy this episode, please put a thumbs up on the video as always. I really do appreciate your continued support with the series. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of that performance and how you think we'll get on in the Europa League final. Do you think we'll get a chance to manage the likes of Milan and Real Madrid next year, or are we going to be stuck in England with our reputation still sitting slightly lower than those clubs? Subscribe to the channel for daily FM19 content from my 2 long-term stories, this one The Head Coach, and our other series Part of the Furniture with Torquay United. That's a 1-club story. We've already started season 10 in that one, so if you haven't been keeping up with that one, I'll put a link in the eye above to season 10. Go back and check it out. It's been a milestone moment in the series. There's also weekly content every Friday from Snooker 19, the first of 3 other sports console games I want to try this spring. They're the sort of games I enjoy playing in real life alongside Football Manager, and the plan was always to put them on the channel, so that Friday slot's going to be filled by them over the next few weeks. So if you are a fan of other sports games or just the way I commentate, then please pop along and check it out and let me know your feedback. It's the first time I've released content for a non-football game, so I'm really interested to hear your thoughts on it. And I hope you enjoy watching it as much as I'm enjoying playing the games. But a massive thanks for watching as always. I appreciate it more than you could imagine, and make sure you're back for the next episode as we play our first European final against the monstrous club that is Bayern Munich.